So if I tell you that the banks are going to disappear in the next 10 to 15 years, you probably won't believe me. But what if the statement is coming out of a banker, a famous banker, a senior banker, saying that the bank accounts are going to disappear in the next 10-15 years? Would you believe that? Probably yes. This is what is coming out right now. Let's go ahead and look into it. And of course, now most people don't realize the banking system as yet. And one of the reason they don't realize, because that's the era that they've been born, and they have never tried to look into the history. And the moment you try to look into the history, you actually realize that today the banking system that you're living is nothing but a big fraud. And also the technology itself has gone obsolete. And these are the two things that has been covered in this news right away. First, that the current banking system is poisonous. That is what comes out from Andreas Antonopoulos as well, if you have heard his talks. And the number two, the system itself technologically has gone obsolete. Let's go ahead and check out. Welcome back to Crypto Conversation. I'm your host Shiv. In case you're new, subscribe. And also, this is not a financial or investment advice, just my personal opinion. So this is an investment banker from Deutsche Bank. He visited China a couple of weeks back, and he was shocked and surprised to see what was happening here. So he says that is the thesis that at some stage in 5, 10, 15 or 20 years from now, who knows, accounts will disappear and be replaced. What is interesting here is that over here, so he says who is a co-head of corporate investment banking at the German lender, told Bloomberg European Capital Market Forum that a recent trip to China had opened his eyes to the fact that the retail banking sector is ripe for disruption for new technology. The retail banking which we are a part of right now, that is everyday banking, will completely disappear. A normal guy, in day-to-day life, you would not use a bank at all. That's a pretty bold statement, honestly, and that too coming from an existing banker. Asked by an audience member how he and his fellow panel members, Barclays CEO J. Staley and Societe General Chairman Lorenzo Bini were preparing for technological disruption. So this is his statement. The week before last, I was in China, and I saw a company that is producing microchips that are used for Bitcoin mining or any type of blockchain technology. There is a thesis that at some stage in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, accounts will disappear. And that would be a game changer to what we are doing. Technology is impacting the different businesses. We are operating in different ways. There is completely new normal evolving. So right now, using cryptocurrencies is not normal. You would agree to that. If you're using cryptocurrency, if you're using Bitcoin, people will say, what is that? What's Bitcoin? What is cryptocurrency? That's not a normal thing. But if you say that I'm going to transfer some money using my bank account, oh yeah, that's pretty normal. I've heard of it. Here's my account number. But if when you say that I'm going to transfer some Bitcoin, some cryptocurrency to you, what is that? I have never heard of it. And probably most people will refuse to take a payment in cryptocurrencies, right? And that's not normal. And here it says that there is a complete new normal evolving. I do get a lot of questions from different people saying that, well, you're living in the dream. This Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are never going to be true. What about this? How would you do this? How would you do this? What about, can you withdraw? Now, most of the time, these questions that I get from people is based on what? Based on the past experiences. And what is the past experiences? It's all about bank. So the person who has lived into the banking system, and if you present them a new technology, he has questions. He has a lot of questions. And guess what? All those questions are based on his past experiences, based on past technologies. Right? And I won't wonder, I mean, this is something that I actually not tweeted, but I'm going to tweet now, which is very interesting. So in the 10 years from now, probably a kid will have a question, and his question would be, I'm shocked and surprised why people used to use banks earlier. That would be the question a 10 years kid would have, a 15 years kid would have in the future. So you see that the type of question most of the time we ask is based on our conditioning, based on our past. There are only few people who ask questions based on the future. And I'm glad that we are all part of the future, guys. So that's what makes me proud. Welcome back to the future. Welcome to the future, rather. So this is the statement. I'm going to leave the link in the description if you want to go ahead and read the entire article. Please read it. It's very, very powerful. Now, another one, of course, he has tweeted as well. You can follow him on the, his name is not Chris. His name is Marcus Schenk, right? Now another new, now this is again from the banker. Okay, so here is what he says. This is another banker. He's no more, but his statement is pretty sound and very strong statement. Now this guy was also the former director of the Bank of England. Now in case you don't know, the Federal Reserve is owned by Bank of England. Who owns Bank of England? Nobody really knows about it, but let's have a look at what he has to say. He's saying that the modern banking system manufactures money out of nothing. Now this is not the Photoshop, guys. Okay, I actually did a Google. I wanted to find some more information on this guy, and I Googled him, and this is what I found, right? So this is not at all a graphic. This is not at all a design or something like that. This is a real guy. If you want to know more about him, he's called Josiah Stamp, first Baron Stamp. You can read his Wikipedia, 1980 to 1941. He was an economist, a banker, and yeah, he was a banker. So former director of the Bank of England. So here is a statement. The modern banking system manufactures money out of nothing. The process is perhaps the most astounding piece of sleight of hand that was ever invented. Banking was conceived in equity and born in sin. Bankers own the earth. Bankers own the earth. Take it away from them, but leave them with the power to create credit. Bankers do create credit. If you have seen, that's a pretty normal thing to create credit. Print a new money, that's a credit, right? And with the stroke of a pen, they will create enough money to buy it back again. I mean, how much does it take for a central government to print money? Nothing much, right? You see, you know the situation in Zimbabwe. If you want to be slaves of the bankers and pay the cost of your own slavery, then let the banks create money. And that's what is happening right now. All the banks, all the central governments are creating money out of thin air. And then there are people who ask, what is Bitcoin backed by? Bitcoin is backed by the maths. What is the fiat money backed by? So as you can see clearly, now these are not people from outside who have made the statement. These are promising bankers. This guy is a former director of the Bank of England. This guy is already living, he is alive, and he is a senior executive at Deutsche Bank. Now this guy is saying that the banks will disappear in the next 10-15 years because Bitcoin is the fastest technology. One more thing that I want to show you, which I actually missed out on, is he also mentioned here that very soon people will have cryptocurrencies wallets. So which is right here. Okay, yeah, here. So Schenck's argument concerns that the creation of individual wallets for cryptocurrencies whereby people are able to store their money digitally but without the need of a third party like a bank. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies wallets are already widespread, but many believe their uses could spread even more rapidly in the future of cryptocurrencies themselves are more widely used. This is a very strong statement. He has seen in his eyes that people are already using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and so he says in the next 10 years from now, there will be no banks. Let me know your opinion about the statement. What do you think? I'm very excited. I'm pumped after hearing this news. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, share, and I will see you on the live today at around 10 o'clock.